Well, that was the big tournament announcement for the John Cena final match, and there's one final match here on Saturday night's main event, and I'm going to guess it was your favorite match of the night.
Oh, boy. Snake bit. That phrase came up to me a time. They got 4 matches on a show, and 2 of them are for the world title. So this is the second world title match of the evening, CM Punk and Jey Uso. And then this is one of the things I was talking about with Jey Uso before when he was the world champion. He needed to win it. He got so hot. He was so popular. It would have made him look like shit if he hadn't won that thing, but he couldn't have it for long because you can't put Jey Uso in 20 and 25 and 30-minute long singles matches on big shows. He can't hang work-wise with the top guys in the company. And I'm not just talking about Punk here. Jey has wonderful charisma, but his timing and his basics and it doesn't appear to me that he's an easy person to work with. And wrestling, especially the headlock takeovers, they started out trying to wrestle a world title match, and that ain't Jay's thing at all. And at one point, Punk tried the reverse neck breaker, and Jey turned around and then turned all the way over again and just fell on top of Punk. And Punk jumped up and kicked him in the head and picked him up and did it again. What the And bear in mind that Punk had a couple of bobbles here as well, including right at the finish. And it doesn't appear to me that Jey Uso is a guy that's easy to work with if you are trying to have a long main event singles match. Let me just say that. And it was babyface versus babyface. I'm sure if you had asked Punk, name 10 guys you want to go 20 minutes on a big show with in a babyface versus babyface match, Jey wouldn't have been on top of that list either. But it was put together smartly. If it had all come off as planned. But Punk stayed in control most of the time, but not as a heel because he's a babyface. It just allowed Jey to fight back from underneath and also for Punk to kind of call it. But they had a bunch of false finishes. Post Malone at ringside looks like a prison gang member. That's country music these days?
Well, he kind of crosses many genres of music.
Looks like he's got crossways with a tattoo artist who fucked him up. Anyway, they were going to the finish. Punk went for a pile driver, and Jey hit to go to sleep on him. And then Jey charged him, and Punk hit a spear and got a 2 count. And the people were into these false finishes they'd been doing. And then Punk hit the GTS to go to sleep. And Uso, landing on his feet, fell back into the ropes. And as Punk went to his knees, Uso collapsed over like back on Punk's shoulders. And the working plan was for Punk to stand up under him again and give him another go to sleep, 1, 2, 3. However, the physics that bit Ibushi and Alexander in the ass the other day on AEW took over. And Uso's weight was too far back. Punk tried to stand up underneath him. They overbalanced. They fell in a fucking heap. But you could tell, and I'm sure Punk immediately said, "Get on me," like Jey had countered it. And Jey gets on him and gets a fucking sleeper. And that gets a big pop. And then Punk rolls it into the Anaconda Vice, and Jey gets the ropes. And then Jey hits a couple super kicks and went for a spear, and Punk hit the go to sleep, and then Jey bounced off the ropes into another go to sleep, 1, 2, 3. So they ad-libbed back into what they were going to do, but it wasn't either guy's shining moment, but God almighty, I would not again want to have to go 20 in a single match main event with Jey Uso.
It's one of those things they have to get there, and it's watching them try to get there. I think this is the right ending, obviously, especially with Rollins being gone. Punk being the champion right now sets you up for a lot of different possibilities. This has been the year of the Cena retirement. In a lot of ways, it's also been the year of Jey Uso and that ring entrance, and I know a lot of people love it, but, you almost miss parts of the match because you start fast-forwarding, or you leave the room because if you're watching it live, you don't need to see it. I started watching the World Series more than I was watching that because it took him a long time to get there, and then he does it a second time.
Yes. No, the entrances on that were almost 10 minutes for the two of them.
And I think we're seeing for the first time, really all year, blowback about Jey Uso's push from fans. I'm seeing a lot of feedback about that. We're getting it, emailed to us and stuff. So I think the year of Jey Uso is coming to an end. And like you said, the matches are never... you can't... Name me a classic Jey Uso match. In all the years we've been watching WWE, name me a great Jey Uso match. You can't. You can name me great moments. You can name me great moments that happen after a match.
And the Bloodline saga, which was all about promos and whose side is who on.
Yeah, but even when there was a match, the match was long, plotting, didn't matter. It was about the last 2 minutes of the match, and then all the drama that always happened right after the match. Jey Uso not knowing if he could turn on Sammy, just everything like that.
And now, not to take the piss out of all of that. That was all well done, and Jey has charisma, and Jimmy has charisma, but the Usos as a team, it was the same thing. They aren't that good at the pro wrestling portion of the presentation.
It's crazy too, thinking back to that period of time. There is nothing as hot or anywhere near as hot as things got with the Bloodline, where you couldn't wait to see the drama that was going to happen. And a lot of the problems we're having now with the TV and everything, they got away with that because it was so hot. But a lot of that was a slow-moving thing. And we always said it like Paul Heyman's booking, it'll just end with nothing. It'll be no ending. It'll just dissolve into nothingness. But I don't know what you do with him next.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why Punk had to win this, because, again, the world title on Punk, he can be in the orbit of the Heyman group, and there's the connection there. Whereas if they put Jey involved with the Heyman group, then it looks like, Roman's replacement showed up. It's not Snuka, it's CV Alpha or whatever.
Superfly Afi.
Whatever the case. But they need the name value going into the WrestleMania season.
We've been talking about how these shows feel, the state of WWE TV lately. Saturday night's main event did nothing to fix any of that, and it was 4 matches, and it took forever.
And you mentioned they were up against the World Series. My bigger problem is they were up against Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yeah, I had that on the living
room. On Svengoolie. But hey, let's be honest. I was asleep by 9 o'clock Saturday night anyway, like always. And fuck the fucking change of the time. I'm waking up same time every day anyway. But I mean, this was, I think, more contractual obligation than a show that was necessary to be held.
And you felt good for Punk. It seemed like it really was a moment. We all joke about these titles or, just what they are, but it really seemed like it meant something to him. It's a full return.
Probably should have happened on Survivor Series, one of the big events of the year, instead of this thing that's hidden on a streaming service somewhere.
Against the World Series, yeah. Because that match was the match specifically because it began at 7, not 8. This match is the one that really went up against things getting good in the World Series. Jim, I'm going to ask you about a photo that made the rounds in a moment, but first, I'd like to talk to you about music. You know, people think of CM Punk. I mean, there's a reason that's his name. It's punk rock. That was the music he got into. He talks about straight edge. I've heard him quote other Minor Threat songs. Music is very important. He has theme music, and of course, Jey Uso has endless theme music, which is awful. But music is great.
Music.
I guess what I'm
very, very good.
Jim, I guess what I'm trying to say is we all need to be able to hear things, and we have a friend that'll stop me right now and let you tell them about how they can hear great music and great podcasts with great earbuds.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, I don't know what the hell that was, but if you'd like to listen to something else right now, then go to buyraycon.com and get some of those everyday earbuds. That's what you're trying to say, Brian. Because it doesn't have to be music.
No.
It could be voice. It could be podcast. You can listen to our podcast on the earbuds.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, you can listen to our podcast. I'm saying hello to the audience. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying hello to me.
Hello, listeners.
I thought you couldn't hear me. What are you on the fucking nitrous again? What the hell's going on over there?
I was doing my Lloyd Lindsay Young. Hello! Back to you.
Back to me. Well, the Raycon everyday earbuds, they don't have to be music. They could be voice. They could be podcast. You can record people doing the naughty. Just crawl over to your neighbor's house on your hands and knees about 2 o'clock in the morning, stick a microphone up next to their window and see if you can record them in intimate embrace, and then you can listen to that on the everyday earbuds.
You know, again,
It's up to you.
It's not up to you. It's up to law enforcement to stop you. That's not something you should do. Don't go to your neighbor's house. Mind your own business and listen to some good sounds.
Do you know back in the old days before everybody did things on the computer, when it was an old typewriter, if you got your E keys, if you got them dirty, it would look like O's. And that's why for a long time there was a rash of reports on the news of police arresting pooping Toms. But anyhow, you're going to shit over these big deals.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are, because the Everyday Earbuds Classic that are loaded with upgrades, active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, an ergonomic fit that just slips right in and lodges in your ear canal.
No.
Archaeologists in years will be doing reports based on the age of the earbuds found in the skulls of prehistoric man.
Jim, you hear Antonio Inoki? Just want to make sure we let the people know nothing will be lodged or stuck anywhere. Everything comes out easily, just like the music.
Oh, it'll come out. Yes, they take the skull and they dip it in a solution, and then they take tweezers and you pull all kinds of things out of these skulls.
No.
And they're available in favorite colors like blush violet or cool mint, or a cool water sandwich on a Sunday go to meat and bun. And they got the quick charge function. 10 minutes of charging gives you 90 minutes of playtime, up to 32 hours of battery life. I'm telling you. And the awareness mode. Now, let's say you're walking a dog and you're walking down the street and suddenly there's an atomic explosion, fire engines start up, and sirens and emergency horns and police cars and tanks. They're all coming down the street, but you're paying attention to your dog taking a shit. Well, if you pop the awareness mode in, then you'll hear all these things before they run you down.
Well, let's hope no one's getting run down. And of course, the only thing that's getting run down.
I'm feeling a little peaked myself right now.
Jim, the only thing that we could say is down will be the price, because we have a great deal for the listeners on a brand new pair of Raycon earbuds.
Boy, how the price is going down like a circus seal. I'm telling you what, because they Raycon, whether it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Titty Tuesday, or Wing Wednesday, everything is up to 30% off when you go to buyraycon. That's BUYRAYCON.com/ you know what that slash is, baby. JCE. That's what that slash is. And that's the code that gets you 30% off all of the various plethora of products that are proffered to your person by our friends at Raycon, our professional producers of productivity.
Great earbuds.
30%. That ain't bad.
We love them here. Everyone in the family has a pair, and we all love our Raycons. I love my Raycons. I know Stacy Cornette is a big fan, and we're sure the listeners will love them too.
Yes, I used to be able to put things in my ears and hear before I got hit by lightning, but now I've got to keep those canals open because occasionally an electric jolt does come out of my ear canal, and I've got to stay grounded.
We're speaking to the audience that has not been hit by lightning, but Jim, for that audience,
it's more common than you think.
How common?
It's common, more common than you would think.
Better chance of getting hit by lightning than winning the lotto?
Yes, you do, actually. Statistics have shown that. But you know what you got the best chance of statistically?
What's that?
Saving 30% on a pair of Everyday Earbuds Classic from Raycon at buyraycon.com/JCE, 30% off. It's like only having to pay 7/10 of the price of something, but you can hear all of it. Unless, of course, you have some problem with your hearing, which is not up to us to fucking deal with. Just turn these goddamn things all the way up. You'll be fine.
buyraycon.com/JCE.